Do you believe in ghosts?
Well, I've never met one, so that's all I can go with at this point in time.
That's actually a really good answer.
That's going to be my answer. But in the new installment of Paranormal Activity, one family has discovered an ancient evil spirit in their home. Heather actually spoke with a paranormal phenomena expert this morning who has dealt with many spirits in his time.
Well, get ready because the latest installment of the global sensation Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, has arrived. Now's the time to discover the truth behind real paranormal activity. We are joined this morning by world-renowned parapsychologist and scientific investigator of paranormal phenomena, Christopher Chacon. Christopher, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
So this is super exciting because obviously paranormal activity is huge, but you actually, this is like what you do for a living. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yeah, currently I consult for people who are, or situations dealing with some type of phenomena that's anomalous, or to the layperson that's paranormal or supernatural in nature. That ranges from everything from demonic possession, exorcism cases, haunt poltergeist phenomena, alien close encounters, severe psychic phenomena. I mean, the list goes on and on regarding the types of experiences people encounter. And I've been in it for about 30 years, and I originally got started as a magician illusionist that was asked, in college to investigate a haunting case. And then pretty soon I began to get dozens of cases, and then I spent a good amount of time with a parapsychologist embracing the whole parapsychological method and taking on hundreds of cases. Eventually I was recruited by a scientific think tank where I was trained as an anomalist and traveled around the world with a scientific team investigating every type of phenomena you can imagine.
So it's pretty safe to say, as far as, paranormal activity, let's go ahead and use those terms, you've seen it all. I mean, exorcisms, possessions. Now, I want to ask specifically about hauntings. A lot of people feel like their homes might have a ghost. Now, does that mean that that's somebody that has, died and maybe hasn't left this dimension yet? Or can that be like an evil presence?
I guess the answer is yes, it's possible. Although, based on the fact that 70 to 80% of these cases have a rational explanation, they're psychological, physiological, environmental in nature. More than likely, there's a rational explanation for whatever they're experiencing. If they are that 20 to 30% where the phenomena is happening, the thinking for years have been, well, then if your place is haunted, someone's died there. But that's not the situation at all. I've been on thousands of cases around the world, and I've been to locations where literally hundreds of people have died in one small area, and yet there's no haunting phenomena whatsoever. On the other end of the spectrum, I've been to locations where no one's not only ever died there, but ever lived there, and yet the phenomena is very vibrant. So there is no sort of cause and effect to producing these phenomena, at least not one that's sort of that we could determine. Interesting thing with Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, is if you take each of these phenomena that's in the film, and of course the writers want to put together a cluster of all types of phenomena. It's almost a haunt, poltergeist / possession type phenomena. I have encountered or have been reported phenomena that's depicted in the film individually. It's very rare that any case would have such a cluster of severe phenomena happening in one location, but there is, even though the writers, it's a fictional story, there is some relevance to the fact of people having these experiences around the world like it. Wow.
So you're saying, that these kind of evil spirits can exist. Do we call them demons? What do we call them?
Well, the whole idea of a demon, it's it's almost a Judeo-Christian construct. It's a matter of interpretation in a lot of situations. For example, there was a case I was involved with in the South Pacific of a person they thought was possessed because he was mutilating his body, trying to get out of the body, and everyone thought, think of it, immediately gravitated toward a demon. But what the conclusion is of the person who actually tried to expel this thing out of them was that it was in fact an animal, a wild animal, that was trapped inside someone's body. And it had no evil intent whatsoever. We immediately sort of branded it as evil because this was happening and gravitated toward the demonic element. But it really, in a lot of these cases, it's a matter of interpretation. And quite often, phenomena that people do have is being misinterpreted. And I think that's based on not only just movies and media in general, but the thinking over the last 100 years or so of really created the whole construct that it's either black and white. A lot of these phenomena lie someplace in the middle.
Right. Well, I'm so glad you joined us this morning because you're kind of clearing up a lot of questions I've had for a while, and now I know I am super psyched for the new installment of Paranormal Activity. Christopher, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us this morning.
That's my pleasure.
And again, Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, is now available on digital HD. Stay where you are. We'll be back after a short break.